Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. Oh, you have to move that. Okay. That should be okay. All right.
Sandhya, we had Miss
Yes.
Miss Gavinoff. She was just here a second ago. I don't know if she joined or not. I was about to add her onto the meeting, but it looks like I lost her. Did you let her in?
No, I don't have that.
Hmm.
So that's all right. So how is everybody doing? Doing well? We have some new members, some longstanding members, and so good to see all of you again. What a pity, and I so wish that I could see you actually in person. I don't know when that will happen. I don't really, many of you might have seen and heard that we'll probably continue on to the virtual world for the next foreseeable future. Don't see really an opportunity right now to have much in person. But of course, if the tide turns and we are able to, and we feel that that's the right time to, to do it, we'll certainly facilitate. But again, our safety, or everybody's safety, your safety is definitely everybody's priority. So we are just, doing the best we can in a given circumstance. Johanna, I'm sorry, do you see her or? That's all right. Sorry, I'm just multitasking here.
I'm inviting her personally.
Yeah.
Good.
I think Jacqueline is trying to get on, but I don't know how to help her get on. Bill's Jacqueline.
He's left the screen.
Yeah. Choose. Okay.
I've got Miss Taylor coming in just a second.
All right. Full house.
There you are. Okay, good.
I didn't realize.
If somebody's phone is very close to the screen or the microphone, it will pick up echo. So I would move your phone away.
Best thing is just to mute yourself.
Right.
Yeah, but sometimes he would do.
Yeah. So again, well, I'm not sure where she should be here any minute because we did test everything yesterday. It was fine and dandy. So I was mentioning to some of those who dialed in earlier, I wore the red jacket with the white. You might have seen any Belarus protests. They tend to wear white and red. So in such honor, I pulled my red blazer and put a white shirt on along the colors. So.
If I was home, I'd have my Belarus flag that she gave us. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have it here though.
Where are you?
In Covington, Louisiana right now with my sister.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
I'm from New Orleans.
What?
Our speaker's on.
Oh, look, and Galina is here too. Galina, we can see you. Can everybody see Galina front and center? Galina, can you wave so we know who you are? But you're on mute. You probably it's better if you're on mute so we can hear you.
Hi guys. Hi everyone.
So we'll go ahead and kick off our visit. Again, thank you all of you for joining. Thank you for your interest. This is definitely a very timely subject and definitely appreciate you tuning in and be part of this dialogue. Some of you have met Galina already. She had so generously hosted our trip after Belarus. Again, part of this group that you see today. We're on the Belarus tour, and then Galina so kindly opened her home, and her mom cooked us nice dinner, food, soup, you name it, as we reminisce, and Bob brought in pictures from the trip. And so it was a great visit. So Galina is a member of World Affairs Council as well, and has been a good friend of ours. And her family is very helpful when we were in Belarus. Again, those who are with me in Belarus might recall that there was supply of local goods and apples and chocolates and cookies to make sure that we were not ever hungry, because as we all know, when we do the World Affairs tours, we're always so hungry, right? Because we don't get enough food. So the Belarusian hospitality was really, well appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it to Galina. Can everybody see her? And Galina, can you speak up a little bit so we'll make sure that we can hear you well?
Yes, I'm here.
Can everybody hear Galina?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You can't wave or signal or smoke signal or something? Oh, good. So Galina, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on to you. And Galina has, I think, prepared some notes for us to kind of give an overall, and then we'll go kind of in Q&A. Again, I'm putting a disclaimer, Galina, I want to make sure that I also share with this the not the expert and, as in policy writer in Belarus, but certainly is a personal friend, and also whose mom is there and family is there. So to kind of give us behind the scenes, what is happening and what is she hearing through the back end channels that are open. So with that, further ado, I'll go ahead and Galina, pass it on to you. It's all yours.
Hi, everyone. And very nice to be here with you guys. And thank you for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Galina, I think your phone is echoing. You have a phone maybe close to you?
Mine? No, mine fine.
Okay. Ready.
Much better.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to share with you guys what's going on in Belarus these times. And I'm myself an immigrant from, Belarus. I'm from capital Minsk, and I immigrated to United States 15 years ago. And my mom and my sister here, in Houston with me. And we are very much involved in Eastern European Russian community here in Houston, and we stay all connected and support each other. So how many of you were traveling to Belarus? So I think I missed that part from the very beginning. Okay, just quite few of you, right?
Yeah.
Well, excellent, that's great. So you had a chance before all of this craziness happened, right?
Yeah.
So I want to share with you guys just a little history of Belarus, and so this is really something that never happened before in Belarusian history, and these events and since August 9th have been genuinely unprecedented. So our president, as you know, Alexander Lukashenko, he was our first president after Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. And he was a president for 26 years, long 26 years, and had an authoritarian regime in Belarus, and he is widely reported by the media as Europe's last dictator. So Lukashenko is from the small village. Oh, my daughter is showing me some kind of pictures. Okay, love you, honey. Sorry, that's how it's happening now in a household. Lukashenko is from the small village, and where he was the director of the farm. Luisa, can you give me a second, please, honey? I'm happy to take a look at it later. Okay, thank you. Where he worked as a director of the farm, and he has two sons from the previous marriage and from the lady what really no one ever seen. So he also has a son, Nikolai, who is 16 years old, from Lukashenko's ex-daughter. So Nikolai's mom was never on the picture, and he was raised by his father, Alexander Lukashenko, in a way that he would become in the future the next president of Belarus. From his childhood, he was always next to his father in any political or diplomatic events, conferences, summits, and for many people, it really looked awkward, and everyone was just like, oh my gosh, we cannot believe it's happening. So all previous elections were never free and fair, and all the opponents of the regime were always repressed and jailed, and the media were, was never free. And as a result, the US and European Union imposed sanctions on Lukashenko and the other Belarusian officials for human rights violations. So the center of Belarusian capital Minsk has changed dramatically over the few last years with newly opened restaurants and sport arenas and hotels and countryside spa resorts. And the city got a modern vibe. And thanks to the young people, young professionals who work in a IT sector. So they earned much more money than the average wage, and IT companies created this bubble of wealth within Belarus and were called like a Belarusian Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe. So what has changed in Belarus? So I think people really woke up, generation changed, and the young people are able to travel, seeing the world, getting foreign education. And Lukashenko's problem was, the growing number of educated people, but unhappy people, lack of employment, no business opportunities, no business right laws. I think that kept the investors from doing the business with Belarusians. So of course, super low salary, which is average like $300 a month. And I think that it's remained the same for a long 20 years. So while food prices became much higher. And of course, the COVID situation, the COVID times, also played a huge role in people's views. So President Lukashenko was making a joke, and he kept saying several times that we do not have COVID. And the best cure is sauna and vodka. Go ahead, guys. Had a strong and are very famous for its hospitality, for warmth, obedience, and very hard work. So majority of people are native Belarusians, and we never had any extremist groups in Belarus ever. And the top 4 demographic groups in Belarus are Belarusians, which is 80%, Russians for approximately 8%, Sikhs are Poles, and some percentage of Jews that's still left in Belarus. So Belarusian opposition meantime, Belarusian opposition never had a chance to become a strong group, because Lukashenko was threatening them and their families, harassed them all the time, and put them to jail even before they could really speak up or in public or bring any plan. But these times we think it's different, and of course it's different. Several strong and passionate candidates from opposition wanted to participate in presidential elections, but they were all jailed again for really unknown accusations, really bizarre accusations. It's like charges for attacking a police officer, or another one for bribery. And one of them, the strongest candidate, is Sergei Tikhanovsky, and he's a well-known blogger, and he was one of them. So Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, his wife, since her husband was jailed just, I think, a couple of months before elections, she stood in for her husband as an opposition candidate. She and 2 other women, they decided to run together for August elections. three of them had identical goals, and they wanted to win elections. So Tikhanovskaya was promised to grant amnesty to political prisoners and to schedule new elections within 6 months. So she intended to let all the candidates go, prisoners go, and excluded from these elections and take a part in fresh one. So none of the political scientists could ever imagine that at the finish line will be opposed by a housewife, basically. She was actually an English language teacher at school. And Lukashenko was repeatedly stressed that he does not believe that the women will win elections. And at one of his meetings at Minsk tractor factory, he gave a speech that our constitution is not for women, and our society is not mature enough to vote for women because the president has a strong power. So president's advisors were blindly promising the president, Lukashenko, that the majority will vote for him, and they were projecting that only 4% will vote for Tikhanovskaya. So, and 2 days before the elections, thousands of people gathered at a rally in Minsk in support of this lady, Svetlana. And it was the biggest rally in Belarusian history since independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. So her popularity was really, really unexpected by authorities. And everyone was hoping for authorities this time to behave wisely, but it didn't happen. So elections were falsified this time again. And by independent polls, Tikhanovskaya took 78% of votes and Lukashenko only 8%. So, and the Belarusian government said it's opposite. So Lukashenko took 80% and Tikhanovskaya got only 8%, so which is ridiculous. So people at this time, they feel that justice has been violated, and this feeling is just super strong in the soul of the people. And Belarusians got on the street with absolutely peaceful protest around the country with the balloons, flowers, kids, strollers, pets, and with and government at the same time. They brought a heavy army and heavy equipment to threat the people. So authorities, they answered with a maximum cruelty, beating and sending over 10,000 people to jail, prosecuting them without investigation, falsify evidence without law, and literally behind the closed doors. And so the anti-government demonstration, and they're going on for the last 30 days, and there's no sign that's slowing down. So we have never seen anything like that before in Belarus. And the population, let me give you an example. The population of small Belarus is approximately 9.5 million. And only in Minsk, we have 2 million people, a little bit less than 2 million. It's almost the same, the size of population of Manhattan. Can you imagine how small Minsk is? So during each weekend, and it's continue every single weekend, several 100,000 of people, they get on the street, and we're basically demanding the new transparent elections of the president of the Republic of Belarus, stop violence against the civilians, release all political prisoners, provide citizens with a free access to information. So the internet in Belarus was shut down for several days. It's about a week. So banks didn't work. Can you imagine? It's definitely economical crisis going on now in Belarus. So basically all the financial system was stopped. And our neighbors, Russia and Europe, the opinion is divided, and Europeans do not recognize elections and results of the elections, and they think it's unlegitimate. And Russia think that it's internal business of the country, and they will accept any decision that is made within the country. So Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that Lukashenko asked for support and involvement of any extremist action will happen in Belarus. And it is very concerning for us because we have never had any extremist groups. And we're seeing trying an attempt to incite hostility where it has never been. But most likely it might happen, and you know, by outside forces. I mean, most likely it will happen. It could start on purpose by someone, so who knows? And of course, as usual, Lukashenko is claiming that unrest in Belarus was formed by hostile outside forces, and mainly America, and mainly by internet. So it is very scary times, and the government is arresting now, harassing one by one the members of opposition, the members of the group, and business owners, students, and literally anyone who is on the street, you know, at the peaceful demonstrations. So tons of people were kidnapped through these times and were forced to leave the country. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya now in Lithuania, and she's meeting with diplomats. She's talking to European Union. She's making videos for Belarusian and for Russians, and she's constantly at the meetings with everyone who is interested in the situation. So she's actively involved in all coordination of the opposition, and she called for protests in Belarus to remain peaceful. This is the main message, guys. So we're let's keep it peaceful and no violence, unless it's going to become a civil war. So meantime, her team worker, her colleague, Maria Kolesnikova, she was kidnapped just a couple of days ago in the middle of the city by the people in masks and forcibly expelled to Ukraine. But at the border, Maria, she teared up her passport and was not able to leave Belarus because she destroyed her passport. And it's clear that Lukashenko is afraid of negotiation, and he's trying to paralyze the work of coordination council and its members. IT sector in Belarus is very well known, like I said, and about 2 weeks ago, the 300 Belarusian IT CEOs threatened to move their business out of the country unless violence will end and new elections are held. So it's approximately 267 IT companies. All investments and projects now are stopped. The big investors from Silicon Valley in California amended, so everything is stopped. And now what's going on, it's massive outflow of specialists are leaving Belarus to Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland. So they're saying that business and startups cannot function only in atmosphere of freedom, and startups can function only in atmosphere of freedom and openness. So that's not the case now. And so what's next? No one really knows what's going on and what's going to happen and what's going on behind these curtains. No information, no apologies from authorities, from presidents. And this is really, really sad. And so what we know, that Russia and China are, the main donors and investors in Belarus. So for example, in 2012, China invested in Great Stone Industrial Park next to International Airport in Minsk. And it's a plot of land approximately 112 kilometers. And the project cost of $5.5 billion. And this is investments are not just about infrastructure, it's just mainly about advanced technologies. China said that they are investing in, they're very heavily involved in construction of a pilot 5G project, which is my understanding, it's a high-speed technology. And so it's this kind of weird ghost cities built next to Belarusian airport, and it's behind the high wall. No one really have a chance to get there. No one really knows what's going on there. It's everyone, oh, it's, you know, something is like really going on. So we believe that Lukashenko is not really making a decision himself. There are many other players, countries, however you want to call them, that are involved in having the interest in political destabilization. And they are basically Lukashenko's advisors. So who knows if Russia will make a deal and buy Belarus? Is it a good deal for Putin? We don't know. No one tells us what's going on. Belarus, it's for sure has a financial problems, and it's total public. We have a total public debt at 3.3. I mean, no, not 33 billion dollars, and Belarus would only need total international financing in the region approximately $6 billion to establish sufficient reserves. We're definitely in a very big debts. So, well, events in Belarus since August 9th have been genuinely unprecedented, and many in Minsk say that the country will never be the same again. But there are lots of questions over the next chapter in this remarkable story, and a solid national majority, a super majority of population want to transition to liberal democracy, but the resistance of Lukashenko's regime is straightening day by day. With the Russia now, you know, standing firmly behind Lukashenko, his, you know, photogenic rallies and patchy strike action will not be enough to bring about historic change. We just think it's too velvet, too soft. So we need a leader for better or worse, there is a marked absence of the rough and stalwart young man capable of making liberals uncomfortable or leading the resistance if and when the authoritarian state decides to deploy force. So we're really hoping for best, and that the Belarusian will keep standing for their rights, but it's very difficult, and we definitely looking for support of European Union and for Americans, and just we're trying to bring attention to this situation and get as much involvement as we can. And we don't get disappeared. We are a small country, but we are looking for support and help. So hope for best for us.
Thank you, Galina. I think it was really helpful to understand a lot of things in perspective, the historical overview, the relationships, the neighborhood that country is. Just checking on your mom. Your mom is in Belarus, right? And your mom is on the streets every week?
Yeah, so I spoke with her today. She was able actually to leave to Belarus. Her flight was delayed for several months, and she was able to leave in beginning of August, right before presidential elections. And she's heavily involved. Yeah, she is on the street almost every day, and meeting people, supporting people, bringing them coffee, cookies. But she's trying to stay with the family together, with the other members of the family, not just to be by herself. And it was interesting. I brought her up, like, Mom, do you want to go to St. Petersburg and take classes like how to make flowers? And this is going to be your hobby when you come back to United States. And she's like, what? Flowers? what are you talking about? We're making a revolution here. So, and it's very sweet. And she asked me, Galina, people in the world need to know, please share, please bring it to people's attention, share with people, share with the friends. Yeah, we hope that she'll come back at the end of the month. I'm sure that it's kind of not dangerous, but it's probably not very safe to go and travel to Belarus right now, especially like me. I became an American citizen. So who knows? I wouldn't go at these times there. So at least wait a little bit for a few more weeks until we have some kind of new,
Direction or, yeah.
yeah.
So I think probably, I assume that other members might have some questions again, and it's an open, discussion, and Galina will, as she said yesterday, she'll do her best to answer the questions honestly. So if you have a question, if you just go ahead and raise your arm and Jahan can help unmute you, that it's easier, so we have a little bit of a, that we can, everybody listen in on the questions asked as well. Jahan, would you help me take the lead on that?
Sure. If anyone feels free to.
I think Colleen and Chris had a question. I saw them. You're muted though. Jahan, can we unmute? Okay. Yeah, very good.
How reliable do you think the news reports are that we see, the few news reports we see on our news media here in Houston and the States?
We're looking at where do you get information?
Well, some from CNN and some from Fox News.
And some from Reuters.
And some from Reuters.
Well, I didn't have a chance really to read it, specifically go to Fox News and listen. There's so much other articles and, sources where I heavily involved. We have this Telegram group that is just like thousands of people, and just literally we're getting like every minute getting new updates. I think they're probably pretty fair. We still have some journalists from all over. They're still grabbing and kidnapping journalists, independent journalists from Europe and from United States. But I would assume it's pretty fair and pretty clear to the current situation, what's going on. I read a couple of articles from BBC, from I would go to Dubai. I don't know if they have articles on on English. Probably they do. They do have these options. It's TUT.BY. But I would assume it's, they bring a fair information.
Okay.
We do hear lots of gossips. Definitely, I listen to lots of many podcasts and independent people from Russian opposition, and with their projections, with their versions of what's really going on. But we try to stay, realistic, and there are lots of gossips, but it's just a gossips. We don't really know the truth.
Yeah.
I think Bernard had a question.
Yeah. Thanks, Galina. That was very, very helpful in terms of explaining the situation to us. Do watch the news, but don't get as comprehensive a report the way you provided it. Thanks. I'm just thinking about the potential outcomes, and this is always a problem when you have dictators that have been around a long time. If you look at most dictators around the world, the reason they never want to leave is because when they leave, they're either in jail or they get killed, one of the two. So they never want to leave. So they always want to stay in power. So if that's the case, how do you look after Lukashenko, that problem? How do you get rid of him? Does he go to Russia and just leave and go to Russia, and then, and you have free and fair elections? Or because unless you take care of him in some way, nothing's going to happen. He'll never want to let go. He'll never want to let go. The same thing happening in Venezuela. The same thing's happening in any dictatorship, really.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And Well, it's a very difficult question, and we don't know. We are pretty sure that he has his pillows somewhere. You know, he has his reserves, and some people are saying it's all in China. So if he ever go, that was from the very beginning. Actually, if there was a second plan, if he goes, he has a place to go in China. Okay, it's if he goes to Russia or somewhere, he is going to be definitely persecuted and jailed. There is no way he's gonna survive like in Russia somewhere, like your Ukrainian ex-president. Yeah. So it's going to be, we are more and more thinking that it's going to be very hard to rid of him, because now he got all support, Russian support, and he was always going back and forth, really threatening Russia on many of things just to get the best prices, you know, just to get a good deals. He never been a really good friend to Vladimir Putin, but suddenly he's asking for their support. But it's interesting, Russia is going through, as we know, we understand that Russia is going through also some, you know, political crisis, and the elections are coming soon. And some demonstrations started in some part of Russia. And you know, I think for Russians, it's we are a big threat because it's just the first sign. Everyone is looking at us. If this will work out and president will go, so it will be a huge sign for Russians, you know, and that's why they're not going to let it go like that. So, and Lukashenko is just, I don't know, he said that. Now he's saying if he goes, if he leaves, we will prosecute the people who were on his side, and this is his, you know, crazy thoughts. Who knows what he's gonna do, really? But Russia also has to make a decision. It's all about Vladimir Putin now. What are they gonna do? No one really wants Russians to get in Belarus. No one is really waiting for them. So it doesn't mean that we speak Russian, Moscow can send the army to us and take over our land. So, I mean, come on, it shouldn't happen, but they might do that. So unfortunately, not European country, not European Union, nor United States. Nothing they can do. They cannot get involved. They cannot bring tanks, right? So it's about the Belarusian people. So how long they're gonna stand for their freedom. And I think we can do that. It's just need a push. But now without a leader, he literally put everyone to jail or forced to leave the country. It's really, really hard. So the atmosphere is just like really a little slowing down. So, but who knows?
Yeah, the hope is that it doesn't turn out like Hong Kong, where basically it's effective takeover by the Chinese.
Yes.
And it actually can transition to something closer to Ukraine without all the invasion part of it. So.
Right. I mean, definitely. Russian regret that they didn't take over the whole Ukraine, that just a part of Ukraine, and that was their big plan. I think if they will have a chance, they're really ready. They're ready. We're sweet pie and sweet piece of the pie, and as soon as they will have a chance, they will do that. But no one is waiting for them.
Okay.
So it will be crazy, and I think we think that European Union, no one will forgive Putin for that. It's ridiculous. I mean, what rights do you have to step on somebody's land and take it over?
Georgia, Ukraine, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think Ursula,
Go ahead.
Oh, you had a question, yeah? Ursula Thelmet? Yeah.
You know, when we were in Belarus and Minsk, we saw Chinese, you know, in the airport, there's Chinese, the translation, and China has made an investment. So when you made that comment, is that a possibility that China would have an impact or, want to make some kind of a strides in Belarus, or like you said, he might be able to defect to China?
Yeah, well, that was actually from the very beginning, we heard that was a plan of, let's say, Russian Vladimir Putin was ready to bring his army, but we heard that just like, I don't know, the story that Lukashenko got on the phone with China and with Chinese government, and they told him, no, just, because China is heavily involved in this political decision. Yeah. And we don't know we don't know really how much country they owe, or like owned. So what piece of Belarus they already bought. So no one really knows. So it's really, so Lukashenko had only this power to sell the land or give it to for 100 years lease to, some kind of, other countries to use. That was his income that he was receiving. Okay. But we're pretty sure that China is probably stopping Russia now to get this invasion.
Who else had a question? Galina, I see that you have a question. Is anybody else who has not had a chance to? Okay, now Galina, I think that it's yours. Jahan, can you help me? Yeah. Or
Sure.
Galina.
Thank you, Galina, for giving us this discussion. We really appreciate it. Sorry for what's going on in your country. Your mother sounds like she's doing fabulous things. Good luck to her and all the people. I have a question related to on the streets. It seems like people are just protesting the elections, and they want new elections, and they want, progress to be made where they have more choice. As they are protesting, are they asking for the opposition candidate that has been ousted from the country to come back? Are they asking for more candidates to come to the table? What type of election are they looking forward to? The same people or a new group of candidates that come in, including somebody that would be a Russian-approved replacement for Lukashenko?
And it's a very good question. Thank you for that. It's, well, I think we're open for like Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, for, current candidates to come back. But it's very hard to make it happen. But probably there's gonna be a new person from Putin's country, from Russia, pro-Russian person. That's probably one of the worst scenarios what's gonna happen. But they didn't have time. They didn't expect such a reaction. They just no one expected that. So they didn't get ready. They were not ready, okay? But to our knowledge, that was actually the plan for Putin's country to bring pro-Russian candidate. Yeah, and we actually have one, and but he's always also jailed. He was one of the directors, CEO of one of the Russian banks in Belarus. I don't know if it's done for purpose, but he actually was pro-Russian. So we'll see. That's the most likely scenario that's going to happen. So they're extending the time. We think that the Lukashenko, as a political person, is done. He's dead. No one is going to be listening to him. I mean, really, he's not really talking to people anymore. But Russia is taking some time. It's going to happen that they will bring someone to the people's attention with a plan, and now it's very hard to have any agenda or anything because all people are gone, all the candidates are gone. So he literally killed them on the rise. So
Mark, do you have a question?
Yeah, Galina, thank you so much. This is really super interesting, and sorry for everything that everybody's going through there. So I'm trying to reconcile. So I've heard you. I had always thought that the ties between Belarus and Russia were very close. So Putin and Lukashenko, and that it was kind of a natural for him to either go there or get support, which is kind of what you hear a lot of. And then I hear you say that, well, the early on, the Chinese came in and told Putin, stand down, no, don't get involved there. And I know China has done a great job with their, politically for them, the Belt and Road Initiative. And I know that that's gone through Central Asia and all over the place and everything. And so I'm just trying to reconcile how that is, who really is the controlling outside factor, really, particularly since I always had thought it was Russia.
Well, who knows? So this is really just a podcast that we're listening from, just people bringing these interviews with a very famous, the people from Russian opposition and who is supporting Belarusian leaders, like the democratic leaders. We don't know. I wish I know and have more clarity on that question, but unfortunately it's not, that don't let us know.
Well, for Lukashenko, though, you said his money is thought to be in China, actually, is where he put it in, which is sort of surprising.
Right, because if any sanctions from European Union and from United States, he's not going to get his money back. So it's kind of wise, probably. So he built these relationships. He actually was traveling to China many times, and with the honor and with the pride. So he was accepted in a team, and because nowhere else he was accepted and recognized. And yeah, but that's what we heard, that all his assets and money are in China.
Thanks.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? I mean, I've already asked, so if anybody else wants to go ahead of me, I'd be happy to go ahead. Okay. Question I had was, normally in situations like this where you've got like a dictator in charge and there's protests, etc., there's the role of the army and security forces sometimes can play a role. I haven't heard about anything where and I really, quite to be honest, I don't know what the role of the army and security forces are in Belarus. I'm assuming right now that they're under his control. And if they are under his control, then so long as they're under his control, I guess he's still got control. But to the extent that they say, you know what, no, we're going to go with the people, is that one potential outcome where he has to, I got to go now because of the army and the security forces are against me. I got to go. So could you talk about that a little bit?
As we know, a lots of army guys, many, from military, from the several generals, and from police departments, they gave up their certificates and their rights to, we don't want to participate, that's unfair. So, but they're all taken to jail, most of them, okay? And that would be really, this is the biggest problem, probably, the issue that army and generals are still on the side of Lukashenko. I don't know if they're brainwashed. They can do an amazing career if they would go, build the trust with their group, with their people, and go on a democratic side and say, hey, we don't want to, be cruel. We don't want to work like this. We want to be with the people. They can make a fabulous career. But so far, and maybe it will happen, maybe we're hoping that it will happen in the near future, because there are opportunities and the people are smart, people are educated, and that should happen. The more and more people has to come from army on the people's side. But so far, honestly, whoever was doing all these cruel things on the streets, it feels like to us, they are not Belarusians. They are paid people who came from who do you know where from? So they might be Russians, they might be from, we don't know, but they don't look like they're Belarusians. They're very trained people. They don't look like, even by figure, they don't look like Belarusians. They're tall, they're very athletic, they're strong, and it looks like they're behaving like they're on the drugs. So they're very, very cruel, and it's very scary. So we're hoping that it will happen in the near future, but we'll see. We're really waiting for Russia. What are they gonna do? For Putin, what is he gonna do? I mean, Belarus in a big debt. It's a big problem for him probably to take over. He has his own problems in Russia. It's a big, hole. We're not sure if he's ready for that, to support Belarus, but we'll see. We think that in the next several weeks, we will have more news.
I think are you saying something, or are you waving goodbye? I can't.
No, I'm going to say something if I have.
Please.
What would Putin have to gain by taking over Belarus? I mean, what is there that it would be, what gain would he have?
I think Alina mentioned earlier, and was the location, right?
Location, geopolitical location, yes. We don't have any minerals, but we do have a huge reserves of spring water, okay? And our location is really, we're connecting all Russia with all European Union, with the Europes. We're neighbors to Poland, we're neighbors to Ukraine, and we have Belarusian government transit the gas and oil to all Europe. We have a refinery, huge refinery on the border of Belarus and Poland, and it's where the Belarusian government gets the most of its income, and it's actually, it's really geographical position.
Okay. Yeah.
The history, the traveling opportunities, we have a beautiful forest. It's the cultural things. It's like a Latvia and Lithuania.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice place to visit.
Yeah, I know. And I think we're so grateful that we went when we went and we saw it. I think it really helps us understand. It definitely helps us visualize places. When you see Minsk, we know what you were saying, and main squares and the hotels and people and life. So it was extremely timely that we went and experienced the country. And we certainly are watching closely what's going to happen, and keep us posted. Happy to dispatch any news that you might hear, and I think greatly appreciate your time today too, and I think it was really helpful overall understanding of, again, future is unpredictable for all of us, and this is so many different forces, so many big nations at play, and perhaps Belarus is just a place where they are playing, but they're not really, the players are behind scenes, as you were saying, and it all falls on the people and their strong will, how long they can withstand the unknown factor. So I think we're, again, very grateful for Galina, for your time today, and everybody else's interest. So I think we have a silent clap or a loud clap.
Thank you. That's very special, guys. Thank you so much for listening and giving a thought, and just care about us. So.
Yeah. So I would say if there's more news, and if it comes 1 week, 2 weeks from now, you know me, and we can regroup very quickly, and you have a group interested in here that we
actually are having authorized not demonstration, but like a group of big group of Belarusians next to the Russian consulate tomorrow, and we are gonna be protesting for Russians not to get so heavily involved, just and asking them to stay away from Belarusian territory. So that's just to bring some attention.
What time is that going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, what time? I think it's Friday. I think it's 4 p.m.
In the afternoon, okay.
Or 4:30, something like that.
Okay, and if the consulate is right there in the feeder, right across from Uptown Park.
Okay.
Feeder of 610.
Yeah.
May I ask one more important question? So with being such a small nation, how does Belarus turn out so many great tennis stars? I mean, I don't understand that. It's just incredible. I mean, we're watching the US Open,
Yeah.
the tournaments. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually the tennis players. It's very interesting to me. It's a luxurious, sport, I would say. And we never had really places to train, like we have places to train for great gymnasts, or for cross-country skiing, or we had a great swimmers, but never tennis players. But I think many of those athletes, they moved to United States to train with immigrant coaches, and that's how we just have a good character, passion, and good genes to become athletes. But we definitely, I know lots of athletes immigrated to different countries to train.
Well, they're fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah. And actually, like speaking about president, like he's done a good things to, bringing Belarus and especially Minsk to become basically capital of sport events. He built lots of sport arenas and gyms, and organizing and authorizing lots of sport events, hockey and soccer. He's done a good things too. So, and sport athletes are very big, always being a huge supporters of Lukashenko. And we see now that many athletes are staying away from politics, or becoming on the opposition side. So, and they're punished for that. Actually, I just read an article this morning about one of the athletes. She's a great swimmer, and she has her own like a swimming club. It's like a Pingu here, like a Pingu franchise, little swimming facilities for kids. And since she was protesting, her business all shut down. So yeah, that's what's sad.
Yeah.
Great sportsmen and great photographers, especially from the town of Gomel, I understand too.
Yeah, he has some really good photos. Excellent. And they do have the tractor factory, right?
And for some of you that were not with us, we actually, I was telling Galina yesterday that the famous place where Lukashenko said that there are no women in politics is the factory that we want. And we were there and we sat on the tractors, actually. We toured the factory. So I was telling Galina that we started the revolution without knowing it. We showed up for the factory and that's where the revolution sparks. So
yeah, actually,
all to say we're thinking about going to Ukraine and Moldova. I'm just saying, So yeah,
and those factories, they were they've been on opposition side, and they had protests, but now one by one they're eliminating and they're laying people off because they are protesting on those the most famous facilities and factories, like motor factory and stuff like that. So
it's not a very happy note that we leave this conversation up, but that's okay. It's not always being happy. And again, it's the opportunity to visit, to minds come together, to hear what we are hearing, to different resources where we find the news. So again, I'm going to say thank you all of you for joining. So good to see you. stay in touch, stay engaged, and we will definitely look forward to seeing you. And great clapping. Thank you, Galina, again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. We will keep you updated. Yeah.
Yeah. All the best to all of you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.